Like your comment there, Jeremy. Yes, bring on the storms. Is that what you're referring to? Maybe. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Friday, everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. It is 50 minutes after 9. I'm running a little behind. I apologize. There's several things to talk about today, so I wanted to make sure to try to get as much data put into the system as I can so I can show you all because, again, there is a lot to cover. So I'm going to ask for your patience as I go through several different themes and setups and why we still have the alert day that is out for Monday. I'll explain the reasoning still on that if you've missed it. As always, you guys can comment. Again, our comments are only showing up on social media, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. But on streaming on the app, if you're watching on your phone there, or on Roku or Fire Stick, which we're on there too, live on the Wave Weather Now channel, it automatically interrupts it. So you guys can watch there, but you won't be able to see the comments. So I apologize on that. Ashley, got to know, is Monday a all-day event or too soon to know? It is an all-day event for wind. On the storm side, it is not. So I'll explain coming up in just a few minutes. Marianne, hi, Marianne. Give me some good news for Monday, 11 to 1 p.m., meeting for friends for lunch. First off, what are you having for lunch? Because that's more important than the weather, right? I will get to the timing on that. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you at least a window. I don't think it's going to be that detailed yet. But we're getting there slowly but surely. Jeremy's like, yeah, the snow. We're not talking about storms, right? I get it. Although we did have some snow flurries this morning that were flying across central Kentucky and even around parts of the metro. Pretty cool, right? All right. Happy Friday to you, B. Appreciate that. All right. So let's get into the setup. First off, as always, I'd like to at least cover the severe risk as they stand. And the good news is for the next 3 days on the outlook, we're good. However, once we get past the weekend, we do enter an outlook. You don't see this too often, but it is a risk for severe weather. And notice it's more eastern Kentucky. It basically would include maybe Adair, Marion, Washington counties, maybe up to Franklin. That's possible. And the reason why that they have placed it more east than right over us is really about the timing. So, Marianne, I hope this helps. But because the way the system is rolling into the area, any thunderstorm action would actually be fading storms that would approach in the morning hours. Then as we head towards, say, 2 or 3 o'clock, they would pop up again or re-intensify. One of the two ideas will happen. And based on placement and heating of the day, that would likely be toward I-75 than toward I-65. So that is a growing trend we've noticed. That's why they put the outlook there in the east. So that's good news for you because I do think we may have something in the area near lunch, but it'll be very fast, and I don't see anything really severe. But again, it's not so much the severe thunderstorm threat that we're worried about here on this one. It's the wind threat that is more of an issue, and that is the main reason why the alert day did trigger. I'll show you that data here in a second. Right now, pretty overcast outside, right? We have a colder morning as expected. Some of you down into the 20s, which isn't that bad. That's still above normal. But man, we've been spoiled lately. I took the dogs out walking yesterday. Harry was outside for a while, my tortoise, trying to find whatever he can to eat, and he was successful in doing that. But he's, I mean, it's amazing how fast he is. You know, the idea that a tortoise is slow is certainly not true. But the dogs had a good time. There were a lot of dogs out yesterday, so that's always fun trying to work 2 leashes at one time. But they had fun, and it was nice. I hope you guys had a chance to enjoy it in February. We don't get a chance to do that. But yes, it is a colder morning, and it's going to be a little more normal for the next few days. The pattern is basically like an upside down letter C. So things are rolling in like a hump, if you will, over Kentucky, then they slide off to the east. And that's how the next wave of rain will be as we enter the next 24 hours. You know, you see the clouds trying to already do that, where they're coming in at an angle, then they'll dive more toward the Smoky Mountains later for Saturday. So that means most of the moisture in general is going to be south, but there will be a chance at some that gets into the area. Why did I have this here? This is not the right graphic. Sorry about that. I knew I was going to do this. Have everything out of order. Sorry about that. There we go. I want to show you this FutureCast. Okay, so we're good overall until we get to tonight and tomorrow. There is that little wave that'll move by. There's just a narrow window where some of this can be frozen, and that's going to be Jennings County, Carroll, maybe Franklin. That's it. It's, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's really worth a mention in our area. Places like Cincinnati may actually see a burst of snow early tomorrow morning. It's possible. It's minor. It's not going to cause any problems whatsoever. Ground's warm, but just want to mention so that it's on the record. And then we're done with it. But we do stay cloudy, but again, temperatures generally in the 50s. All right, this is not what I wanted to show, so hold on one second. Let me see if this is the right one. Nope, that's not it either. I wanted to show this one. I apologize, guys. I had everything out of order today. This is the system that we're watching as we head into Monday. First off, I'll show you the surface features, okay? The surface features show the warm front moving in Sunday night. Temperatures are going to rise Sunday night. We've seen that a lot here lately where we get warmer early mornings happening. This is the same track almost the past 3 or 4 low pressures have taken, right? So it moves in. You see the line of showers and storms. This is at 5 a.m. And as we evolve through the day, at 9 a.m. it's moving in. And then there we go, lunch. It passes through the area. Now, a couple of things are happening here. Your thunderstorms, you see the yellows are popping in. So that's where they start to power up again, right there in eastern Kentucky near Lexington, just east of Nashville. And that's why the severe risk is a little more pronounced east, because we're at 1 p.m. And Louisville is pretty much going to be done at that point. And a lot of you actually will be. The warm sector in general, which is like the triangle here, that's the warm sector, south of the warm front, east of the cold front. That becomes squish because the low is occluding. It's weakening. So as the warm sector collapses on itself, the severe thunderstorm risk in general is over. And so that is more pronounced west of us, but it really shrinks down as it gets closer to us. So there's only a narrow window for strong storms here. But the problem here is all these white lines you see. These are isobars, and anytime they're close together, that indicates strong wind as the pressure is changing rapidly. And the closer you are to the low, the more you're going to have to deal with that. And sure enough, we are pretty close to the low. We've been close to them a lot. In Louisville, what is interesting about this is we will likely see a round of rain, thunder. We don't know yet if it'll be severe, but toward late morning and midday, and then quickly again heads to the east. But the sun is going to come out fast on Monday. And the rest of the day, it's really going to be just about the strong west wind that is in the area that is going to be quite strong. I mean, we're looking at wind advisories, I think, are nearly a sure bet here. But this is another setup where a high wind warning can get issued. We just don't know yet if will we have an inversion, which means we have that shield above our head. Will that protect us from the winds getting to the ground level? We faced that many times. It kind of helped in the last event, to be honest. So it's possible we could see that again, but right now we got to take it as what it looks like on paper. And looking at it on paper, it looks like it's going to be quite windy for Monday. Let me show you the jet stream pattern. It really shows this bowling ball. I mean, here's Louisville right here. Here's the bowling ball right into the Four Corners area. It's giving California their snow. I think it was at San Diego Weather Service there issued the first blizzard warning they've ever had to issue before for snow there. But watch how it rolls out. Look at the wind field, very strong on the southern side. Here comes the bowling ball. This is bad news for severe weather for Sunday. Bad news in this area of the country. This is going to be tornado potential. That's going to be Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. But watch the colors as it gets to wave country. Shrinks down. Again, the low is occluding, it's weakening, but still strong enough to produce a very strong wind field that will be present in the area. That's going to be the strong gradient wind. And right now, it's looking like 50 to 55, maybe up to 60 in some cases, depending on the evolves. But it continues to shrink and then just goes away, goes bye-bye. So that's the reason for the alert day. I hope that made sense. So that's the game plan as we head for Monday. Any questions on that? Everyone's already talking about the snow. Hold on, I ain't got there yet. Good morning, Glenda. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Harris. 74, Michelle, you're in Los Angeles? Oh, 74 here and snow in Los Angeles. Well, it's the mountains east of Los Angeles. But yeah, you're right. It's rare. I mean, you only have to drive an hour and a half and you've got feet of snow. That is rare for California. Absolutely. Or at least LA anyway. Okay, so I think everyone's cool on how this is going to play out. So let me get into what's going to happen after it. After that happens, we get into a very interesting setup that is going to involve another southern low pressure. Thought I had that displayed. Where's it at? Hold on one second. Here we go. Where is number one? Sorry, bear with me. This is what I get for going fast, not updating things I should be. Okay, let me show you the euro first. This is going to be a week from today. Low pressure is going to move across the southern part of the country. Now, here's the debate this has had is, will this one be a southern tracker or not? The GFS has been consistent on it, as you're about to see. The euro had a very strong low pressure that cut. And the Canadian still likes that idea, by the way. But now the euro is trending toward a more suppressed and a bit weaker system as a result. Strong low pressures with a high gradient will cut in many cases and head north. If they are a little more on the weaker side, they can be suppressed. Now, there is no real true Arctic air at play here at all at the end of next week. So this is one of those systems that has to produce its own. And this is one that can do that if you are in the deformation zone, which is the northwest corner. This is elevation snow you're seeing there in the mountains and Smokies. But this would be deformation in the northwest corner. And you see hints that it wants to do it. Well, I went on by real fast. It wants to do it, but it's not quite there yet. Now, when you look at the GFS, it does the same thing, but it produces its own cold air, and you see what happens. I mean, that is like a classic snow event. Now, be careful with the modeling. Modeling spitting out some high snow totals with this next Friday night. But you got to look at the snow depth. And the snow depth is only just a few inches, okay? So it's a much more or less dramatic scenario, which makes more sense given our environment right now. So what is interesting about this, though, is it wants to hit at snow next Friday night, but we clear out and jump to 60 on Saturday, next Saturday. So whatever falls Friday night is going to be history in a matter of hours. Talk about a classic March snow. This would fit the picture, but I don't know yet. I mean, the GFS has been very consistent on this. I will say that. This is probably the 7th run in a row that looks just like this. So I'm giving it props. Congrats, GFS. And the euro was one that was more north, and now it is shifting south. So is it trying to trend toward a GFS idea? I don't know yet. But it is interesting. And it would, again, have to be a nighttime event in this scenario. It can't be daytime. If it's nighttime, it can happen. If it's daytime, it's not going to happen. I can tell you right now. So something to watch. We'll see. So the time period for next week is bookended by 2 different type of storms and maybe 2 different alert days, potentially. Who knows? All right, so looking at the data on that, let me see if I have it for you all. Hold on one second. See if this is the right one. Yeah, here's the euro long range. This is for next Friday and right after that. They're not all filled in. Again, you want to see all the colors filled in top to bottom because that's each of the ensemble members on the horizontal axis here. You want to see that all fill in to get high confidence. They're not all filled in, but it is noisy. I mean, they're trying to, and there's actually more blues than grays, indicating some decent snow potential out of this. And this is March, so we didn't really see this much activity in the data for February. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Let me show you now I believe I have, I got so many different graphics. It's crazy. Let's see. This is kind of the same thing. Yeah, this is the GFS on its different ideas for Friday night. And they're not all there on the ensemble side. You saw the actual, what we call a control run of the GFS. I mean, this one's got it. Maybe this one, 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 maybe this one. So there's, I mean, it's decent amount, but some are north, some are north. So it's not all there yet, but there is at least some agreement trying to show up. Now, the polar vortex, of course, big news on that is it's on the move for March. Will it allow cold air to spill into the lower 48? And you see that it wants to, in the last few frames, more of a stretch than anything, but it wants to attack into the plains and part of the Midwest. Will it be able to reach us in March? Because the Southeast Ridge is still showing up there. It's a good question. It's certainly on the move. We're fairly confident on that, but will it be enough to make a big difference? All right. So looking at the EPO on the Euro, look at it tanks at that time period in March. My stomach is growling. Can y'all hear that? My stomach was growling. That's embarrassing. Anyway, you see the EPO tank, and that's a good sign that we're seeing a bit of a change in the Pacific flow coming to the United States. When you get into the, I believe this is NAO, it's showing negative, which indicates more of a blocking pattern, which would slow everything down in the eastern side of the country, especially, and allow for low pressures to be able to pull down some of that colder air into the plains and Midwest. So that makes sense. So things are lining up. In fact, the new long-range Euro map on temperature departure for March shows we're going to be colder than normal. Normal is around, well, at this point in March will be probably 52 to 54, something like that for an average high. So it's indicating that we'll be maybe 5 to 10 off of that, which is still highs around 40. So that's not overly cold, but colder than normal. Much colder in the plains, but it does allow for an interesting pattern that could take shape. So there you go. That's the weather drama that we have for the next week time period and into March. Any questions on that? Let's see. Cassie, flying out of Louisville next Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Ooh, I have no idea at this point. No, I would not change anything. Do not change anything. It is way too early for that, I can tell you. All right, so hang tight. Angela, this swinging 30 to 40 degrees are bet. Yeah, I know. It is quite dramatic. We're getting to be pros at this, though. And you know what? A lot of you guys have been asking about wind. It seems like it's been really windy this year. I am working on data on that from November till now, trying to see how that fits into a normal scale. And there's some interesting trends. Once I get that finished, I'll make sure to share it with you all. But I promise you, we get it too. We've been talking about it, so we'll try to show it. All right, it's 7 minutes after 10. I've got to go. I got to get ready for the midday show. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it as always. Again, if you have any questions, let me know on the page. I'll try to pay attention to it. Otherwise, you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you coming up on midday.